What if you could take a snapshot of an entire country, all its hopes, its fears, its future, just by looking at the news from a single day? Well, that's exactly what we're going to do. We're piecing together the story of modern Canada using only the headlines from one day, August 27th, 2025. Let's see what just one day in the life of a nation can really tell us. So that's the big question for us today, right? What can a single day of news actually reveal? Well, as you'll see, the headlines from this one day paint a picture of a Canada that's really at a crossroads, a nation grappling with these powerful forces that are pulling it in totally different directions, both from inside its own borders and from the world outside. And we're going to start by looking inward. First up, we're focusing on the internal pressures. The deep and sometimes really divisive conversations about culture, identity, and the economy that are shaping the country as we speak. Okay, so our first headline takes us to Alberta, where a debate over books in schools has just blown up into a national controversy. Schools there have been ordered to get rid of all books with explicit sexual content by October 1st, and it sparked this fierce clash over what should and shouldn't be on library shelves. And believe me, this issue has created a massive divide. On one side, you've got parents' rights groups like Action for Canada, and they argue this is all about protecting kids. But on the other side, critics and academics like James Turk are warning that this is a really dangerous step towards censorship, one that they say specifically targets and silences marginalized voices. It's a conflict that's playing out right at the heart of what it means to be Canadian. And this isn't some abstract theoretical debate. The policy is widely seen as going after specific LGBTQ+ affirming literature. We're talking about really well-known, award-winning graphic novels like Genderqueer and Fun Home. It just goes to show you, this isn't just about policy, it's about whose stories are allowed to be told. So, while this cultural debate is raging, there's another internal pressure that's building, this time on the economic front. For the first time in a very long time, it looks like Canada is seriously rethinking its open-door immigration policy, and that's signaling a huge shift for the country's demographic and economic future. And this is a really big deal. After years of steady growth, 2025 is seeing a major drop in the number of international students and temporary foreign workers coming in. So why the change? Well, it's a mix of tougher visa rules and economic pressures. And the impact is massive. It affects everything from the labor force to the financial health of Canada's universities.
Now, all of this internal stuff is happening while Canada is also being forced to redefine its place in the world. So for this next part, we're going to pivot and look outwards at the external pressures that are pushing Canada to carve out a new path on the global stage.
A perfect example of this pressure comes from Canada's relationship with the United States. Get this, a staggering 62%, a clear majority of Canadians who own property in the U.S. are planning to sell. And the main reasons they're giving? The U.S. political climate and growing trade tensions. That's a powerful signal that the historically comfortable relationship with its closest ally is under some serious strain.
But Canada isn't just sitting back and letting this happen. As one traditional relationship shows signs of strain, the country is actively working to build new ones, pivoting to create new economic and security alliances all around the world.
And you can see this pivot happening in two key areas. First, on the energy front. Germany is now saying it's very interested in Canadian liquefied natural gas, which is a huge reversal from their previous policy. At the exact same time, on the security front, Canada is joining military drills in the South China Sea, which signals a much deeper engagement in Asian security as tensions rise over there. So you've got these internal debates and these external pressures. How does it all come together? Well, the path forward seems pretty uncertain, and nowhere is that clearer than in the country's economy, which on this one single day is telling a tale of two very different stories. This little snapshot of the banking sector is basically the perfect metaphor for the whole country right now. On one hand, you have the Royal Bank of Canada posting a massive $5.4 billion profit, just blowing past expectations because of strong performance. But on the other hand, the National Bank of Canada missed its profit targets, blaming sluggish activity. It's a really uneven, uncertain landscape out there.
And maybe this quote from the successful bank RBC sums up the national mood best. They describe their strategy as maintaining a prudent posture amid trade uncertainty. That feels like Canada in a nutshell on August 27th, 2025. Cautious, totally aware of the risks, but still finding ways to be resilient and to succeed.
Which, of course, brings us right back to where we started. We have a nation facing a cultural identity crisis at home, all while forging a bold new path abroad. It's a country of both caution and confidence, of division and new alliances. And all of this leaves us with one final, crucial question. Torn between these internal debates and these external demands, which version of itself will Canada ultimately choose?